I'm June. Here is something ironic about the game of golf. There is something that most golfers, I mean, it could even be a beginner golfer. I'm always floored when I hear them say it. Obviously, they've heard it from somewhere because there's no way that would just pop out of their head. But so many people are afraid of something that doesn't exist. So what do you think that is in a golf swing? What are you afraid of doing? What would be embarrassing? What is a movement that should not be in the golf swing? You can pause it, think about it, or I can just tell you right now. It's the flying right elbow. Everybody's afraid of it. I'm telling you, it's the funniest thing, because the reason it's funny is nobody does it. I mean, very rare. If you walk down the driving range, you're not going to see a flying right elbow. Hardly ever. Like maybe once in a blue moon. And actually, if you know the golf swing and know a swing that is powerful, it's better to be there. If it's really flying out, that's what I mean, like flying right elbow. If it's really flying out, it's better to be there and then keep it there or scale it back a little bit than to do what most golfers do. I call it broken wings. So it stems from many things. It could be the visual of a golf swing. So a lot of people see the illusion of the golf swing. I always say the golf swing's like magic. It's an illusion. So what you think you see is not really what you should try to do. That's one reason people get lost in trying to tuck their elbow in. But a lot of the main reasons is it's just spread around. Everybody talks about it. It's like, keep your arms connected, keep your elbows tucked in. Use your towel. Oh my gosh, like the towel drill or the head cover drill where you tuck it between your arms and your chest and then you swing and practice. And that can work, I mean, if you're monitored. And luckily a lot of like professional golfers, you've seen them do it, but they don't hit shots day in and day out with it. And if they did, they would have what I would call broken wings. It's glued to the side. If you really do that drill and then that just manifests in your swing and becomes second nature, like repeated, that can really prevent you from getting extension. You know, so every structure, even a house, a car, it has space. So space is just as important as structure. So if you create connection, there's many levels to think of connection. You could think, oh, connection, get your elbows and arms glued to your side, that's connection. Or you're coordinated, you've got extension, and that's connection. Everything's connected, you know. And elbows out too. I mean, that can be connected in its own way, and then you can scale it back depending on what kind of swing you want to create. You can watch a pro do it, but they're not doing that in their actual swing. I mean, no one swings like this and like this. But what happens is that towel drill gets so many people. Like you take the average golfer and they stick that to the side, their arms are already glued to their side. Everybody's like afraid of utilizing space. I've talked about that before. Like I'm like, take your arms out, and they're already uncomfortable doing this. I mean, this isn't even a golf swing. You know, they're just like, oh, you know, we're supposed to, you know, keep our own personal space. Most golfers are already too connected. They need extension. They need space. And so this drill just locks them in. I mean, it's just like, okay, put a chain on you. You're just locked in. And so I don't really recommend it. Here's the thing. It's not just because I don't like it. Okay, so I personally have done it. I've had so many coaches, so many people that's like, you got to do it. And I would practice it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting any distance, especially me. Like, I'm not very strong. And so add that to my swing, it's just like, wow, I'm never gonna get this. And so then they'll be like, it's not the drill, it's not the swing, you got to go work out and gain some weight and things like that. And yeah, that isn't going to get me distance with my arms stuck to my side like this. And that's a personal experience, right? And I just knew one thing is, and I learned it through teaching, is I haven't met anyone who practiced as much as I did. Like, people don't like to practice, they want to just go play, right? And I would practice and play. Like, I did all of it. And I would really put things to the test. So if somebody says, do this, and I would go do it for hours and days and weeks and months. I put in the work. And so that was a personal experience. I always say, like, I've given tens of thousands of golf lessons. I say that lately because I haven't said that before in videos, so you don't know where this information is coming from. So I'm going to keep saying it because it's like legit. I also look at their swings before I do anything with it. And everybody has broken wings. Their arms are stuck to their side. And I always question, what are you working on? What are your thoughts about the golf swing? What do you think you need to do? What have you been doing? Who has been coaching you? Like, I just ask all these questions, so there becomes a pattern of things. And then I see it, how it manifests in their swing. So if the towel drill worked, even if it didn't work for me, but it's worked for everyone that showed up, then I would be like, I'm very open-minded. I would be like, wow, that's cool. Like, look at your swing. So I always video people before, and they would look at their swings, and I've never had anyone go, wow, that looks amazing. That looks good. Can you keep enhancing it? They'll go, whoa, that's not very good. A lot of people don't look at their swings. They don't know what it looks like. So they think they have a wide arc. But you do drills like that, keep your elbows stuck to your side, even for chipping. I don't recommend that. Everything works for a while, and it seems like this magic pill, but I see how it degrades other motions in your body because everything's connected. So I see the future of it. It's like, you could say that I'm a psychic when it comes to golf swings, because I'm like, yeah, I know what that movement and that drill is going to do to you. And I don't have to be psychic because I see the future. Like, what I mean is, when I see somebody and they tell me that they've worked on it, or what all the things that they worked on, their future is the swing that they have in the moment. That's what they worked on in the past. So that's kind of psychic already. I mean, I know how it's going to manifest. And day in and day out, I would see how that drill or that thought of keeping your arms connected to your side can really be detrimental to your golf swing and game. But most importantly, it can really create a lot of injuries in your wrist, elbows, shoulders, back, hips, knees, just anywhere you could get injured that can cause injuries in parts of your body. Those are things that I had to constantly be, just because of the fact that it's been said so many times. Like, even a student that I've had for a while, they'll get stuck. They'll go play golf with somebody and they're like, you don't need all that extension. You got to stick your arms more closer to your side. And they come back and they're doing this and they've got a reverse pivot and they've lost distance. They don't know why. And a lot of students don't know that those are the things that are also important that I make sure that doesn't manifest in their body. So it's easy to take tips and not know where it came from, and that you just apply it. And I would always go, whoa, what did you do? You look different today. Like, you've lost the extension, you've done this. And they're like, how do you know? And I go, I can see it. So then they kind of fess up and go, I was working on, the towel drill, or I heard that you're supposed to keep your elbow stuck because the flying right elbow is a horrible thing, right? And I'm just like, it doesn't exist. I mean, very few people do it, and when they do, it looks great. Then you can scale it back. It's a better side of the spectrum, actually, because it's more coordinated, it's more powerful, it's more accurate, and it provides more feel. So one thing is, I'm able to get students going But it's funny how you can still go down the rabbit holes. It's like you're going good, 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 and then, you know, that's why it's good to kind of check in, because those tips just kind of sneak in. It's weird. And then you're on the right path, and then suddenly, you know, it's in conversations. It's so subtle too. It doesn't have to be just that somebody's like, oh, let me teach you what you should do. It's like just are in conversations. And but I always say, and I prove it, check this out. One of the best golfers ever lived, Jack Nicklaus. His elbow's way out. And they even labeled it the flying right elbow at times. But it's beautiful. That's how he got extension. That's how he got power. He's got a fluid, long swing. A lot of long drive contestants, most of them, have it. I mean, there's just so much space. How would they be able to take the club over their head if their elbow's stuck to their side? And think of other sports. Like, would you throw a ball like this? And it's funny because once I get the students, this is hilarious. I give them a golf ball and I go, okay, put your arms to the side like you think you should do in a golf swing, and throw the ball. And they're like, and we both laugh because it's just too not only logical, but it's just real. Like, it's the truth. Like, how do you throw like that? And then we do other things, like we talk about like baseball or whatever. And I need a whole section on baseball players and like really good athletes too in other sports, because unfortunately, like especially baseball, they start to want to play golf, and they get where they'll take instruction or from other people, and they'll be like, you can't use your baseball swing. And it's so unfortunate because they're like at the last, like the lowest on the totem pole of the action they've learned their whole life that they can't use, that they should use. Like, they're the closest to the golf swing. And so that's a whole nother topic. But I just want athletes who know how to throw and play baseball and any other sports like basketball, you know, that you have space in your swing. Find guidance that allows you to utilize it, because you've practiced. I love people who have a skill set in anything, because you can use that and transfer certain movements into the golf swing or in other activities and not feel like you have to start all over again. So some of you have trained and practiced in your skill set. You don't want to waste that and throw that away and go, oh, that's not useful in this sport. No, you can use a lot of it and transfer it, and you take off and you're not starting all over again. Because there's been athletes where I can tell they're athletes. I would go, you're very athletic. And they go, I really am. It's just golf. I mean, I don't know why. Like every other sport I could play, but this sport, it's so challenging. Yes, it is challenging. It has its challenges. The difficulty of the ball being on the ground, thinking that also it's easy because the ball's not moving, but to launch it so far, it's challenging. There are people that I see, I'm like, you're athletic, and they're like, yeah, I mean, I am. I've played my sport really well. I go, but you're not using that motion in the golf swing. And so then they've been taught to not use anything that they've ever done, that golf is different, and it's not. It has its positionings, but the coordination can be transferred over. So that's something to down the road wrap your mind around. I think right now, wrap your mind around, wait a minute. So the flying right elbow that everybody's worried about doesn't really exist, and that it's actually good for you, and that everyone should strive for it. Yes. Yeah. It's it's part of the many ways to get effortless power. All right. Take care. Peace. Aloha.